Hello from Southern Ontario, December 6th, here today in Canada. I want to talk about weeks 2 and 3 of what transpired at the Emergency Act investigation. And again, I'm rounding out things into even weeks. It didn't quite work that way. But in the last vid, we talked about what happened in week 1. Now, in week 2, the government lawyers had all of the convoy people there, the organizers and spokespersons and related. And again, you might say, well, what are they doing there? It's supposed to be investigating why the government enacted the Emergencies Act. And you'd be quite right in asking that question, of course. But what transpired, nonetheless, was they spent that whole time period trying to paint some dirt on the convoy, which was a complete waste of time. Every subject matter that they broached had already been scrutinized, studied. The CSIS, FinTrack, the money thing that's supposed to be about laundering money and terrorist money and stuff. And whatever angle they went at the convoy had already been done. As an example, they had up there both the GoFundMe and the Give, Send, Go fund people. Well, again, all of this ground had been covered, and they hadn't found any Russians hiding in the woodpile. I'm sure you know what I mean. No right-wing extremist, misogynist, racist, white supremacist terrorists. It had all been covered. So one might say that was a complete waste of time. Well, it was a complete waste of the inquiry's time. And again, you've got to wonder why the commissioner didn't step up and say, hey, they're not on trial here. However, what it did was nice and neatly amalgamate all of the talking points that the government had been saying since day one, trying to throw mud on the convoy. And they came out squeaky clean. So, good work, government lawyers. All he did is condense it into a nice, neat little package for the entire world, the world press, to see. Good work. Week 3 got a bit interesting. I'm going to lump the two of them in together, although it was a totally different format. Week 3 came up all these departments of this, ministries of that, advisory boards and divisions and departments of, and when they say the government's top heavy, no doubt. But 201 at the end of the week, also that they got out of all of those people was, well, when you were corresponding to your sister department over there, basically what transpired? Well, I asked them what the word was, and they asked me what the word was, and we both said the same thing, which was the man hasn't told us what to say yet. Excuse me, I'm still in the tail end of this cold. So, all it showed was really all these sunshine list babies are worthless. They don't do anything except sit up there at the trough in Ottawa and suck up money. Because nobody actually really said, well, we'd taken the stance that, we should talk to them or we should run them over with tanks or anything in between. Pretty well 201, they all said, well, I talked to Bill, and Bill said he talked to Henry, and Henry talked to Ralph, but none of us got the word from the boss, so really, blah, blah. So it burned up another week of the clock, so to speak, and bored people to tears and exposed just how useless all this cronyism is within the government. Week 4, the next vid. This is when it gets interesting.